This is what a regular working day looks like for me right now. I spend 8 hours a day staring at 3 different screens. One for incoming emails, one for important chats and messages, and one for meetings and everything else. On top of that, I am listening to either music or podcasts most of the time, and if I take a break, I usually just check social media on my phone. Most of my free time after work I spend on my laptop, either chatting with friends, watching movies, being on social media, or surfing on YouTube. As you can imagine, at the end of the day I feel completely drained and exhausted. So I decided to do something about it. I decided for myself to do a Dopamine Detox Weekend. And what that basically means is that from Friday until Sunday I would avoid any artificial stimulation that releases dopamine in your body. So no Netflix, no YouTube, no mindless scrolling through social media, no news, no porn, no checking my YouTube stats, which I do embarrassingly often. I will try to eradicate all of that, at least for a couple of days, and instead focus on things that naturally release dopamine. That includes meditation, spending time outside, being in nature, meeting up with friends, working out. All of those can help you to naturally increase your dopamine levels. Alright, it is Friday evening now. The weekend has literally just begun, but I have to say I'm already kind of bored. My girlfriend went out to meet a couple of her friends and drink wine, so I am stuck home alone. I can't watch a movie, can't be on social media, I can't be on YouTube or on my phone like I normally would be in this situation. So I guess it is up to me now to find other ways to keep myself entertained. For me, it's time to go to bed now. I have to say though, I definitely had cravings in the last couple of hours to get some kind of stimulation, some kind of dopamine rush. I truly hope that those are just some kind of temporary withdrawal symptoms, that I'm going sort of through a cold turkey phase, and that tomorrow it will be much easier. Because otherwise I have a really long and excruciating weekend ahead of me. But one positive thing that I can already notice is that while I am feeling tired, just because it's been a long working week, I don't feel the same mental exhaustion that I usually have if I spend hours in front of the screen right before I go to bed. So I'm just really curious now how it will go for the rest of the weekend. Will the benefits outweigh the negatives? Or at the end, will I decide that I still rely on artificial dopamine creation? Well, let's find out. I made sure that Saturday morning I slept in, because sleeping more can also help you increase your dopamine levels. After that, I went on to meditate for 20 minutes. Usually I only do 10 minutes, but for this Dopamine Detox Weekend, I figured more is probably better. And while I did start feeling uncomfortable eventually, I did feel like it was good to push myself a little bit. It also allowed me to start into the day with a sense of peace and calm. I'm about to have lunch now, and let's be honest, these days if you are eating by yourself, you are either on your phone or you're watching something on your laptop. I definitely do that, but not today. Today I am just gonna enjoy my meal, focus on that, do nothing else. Let's see how that goes. pieces are always the hardest when you're eating with chopsticks, but I managed, and I have to say, I really enjoyed this meal in a different way than I would have if I watched something at the same time. When you are staring at a screen while eating simultaneously, there's no way you can fully appreciate the meal that you're having. And you are actually missing out on the stimulation that you get from eating really good food. So right now, I'm not just feeling full, I'm feeling fully satisfied from the food that I just ate. After lunch, I decided to go outside and catch a little bit of sunlight, which is still rare here in Sweden, even by the end of May. I gotta say, this whole dopamine detox weekend is starting to grow on me. Lying here in my hammock, just looking up into the trees and into the sky has such a calming effect on me. It honestly is so much better than being on my phone or being on my laptop. And yes, of course, we are always telling ourselves we can have both, right? We can be on our phone and still have all the adventures that the outside world has to offer. But how often do we actually do things like that? Just hooking up a hammock in the middle of the woods and just lying there and enjoying without any distractions. It's so easy to do things that are fun and that make us feel good, but it's also so easy to miss out on those. So no matter how this weekend ends, I already know for myself that I want to do more things like this here. Later on, I had agreed to call up my sister, and because of Corona we don't see each other a lot right now, so we had a lot to talk that evening. To me, talking to my friends or my family is one of the easiest and most reliable ways to make myself feel good instantly. It really doesn't matter if I feel a bit down, if I had a bad day. As soon as I talk to someone that I truly care about in my life, I get that dopamine release and I can feel myself enjoying life a bit more. I finished off my Saturday with another workout session. Now that the weekend is halfway over, I am starting to see the benefits of this dopamine detox. Today I have already done a couple of things that I know are good for me, but under normal circumstances I probably wouldn't have done. So when you are not constantly trying to get that next dopamine rush, you simply have more time to reflect on what really makes you feel good. And those are exactly the things that I did today. I'm heading off to bed now, but I'm already excited to see what tomorrow will bring. My Sunday began again with meditation in the morning, and afterwards breakfast and a nice cup of coffee with my girlfriend. By that time, I could really feel that I was not as dependent on my phone anymore. I didn't have that feeling anymore that something was missing from my life. Instead, I was able to fully enjoy the moment and just be present. You know how your life satisfaction sometimes feels like a bucket. You try to fill it up by pouring in more and more, but at the same time there's a hole in the bottom and it keeps leaking, so you actually never manage to fill it up to the rim. This is exactly the feeling that I try to overcome with this dopamine detox weekend. And by Sunday, I could really feel the bucket just being completely full. I didn't have this uncomfortable feeling anymore that I constantly need to add more and more and more to my life. Instead, I felt like whatever I had was enough. During that Sunday, we went up into nature, met with friends, had an amazing barbecue together, went swimming. There was really nothing more to wish for to make the Sunday any more awesome. And this concludes the whole dopamine detox weekend. I have to say it was surprisingly easy for me to stick to my own rules and follow through with it. Probably mostly due to the fact that we had amazing weather this weekend and I kept myself busy. A couple of months ago, during the Swedish winter and during Corona shutdown, I'm sure this would have been a much harder task. But to me, this also just goes to show that if the weather is nice outside, if you have friends that you can hang out with, if you can go and exercise, you don't need to rely on your smartphone and your laptop in order to create dopamine in your body. Now don't get me wrong, I still want to live a 21st century lifestyle with everything that includes, but it is good to learn about myself that I don't depend on any of this stuff. And I do highly recommend that you as my audience try it out for yourself sometime. You might be surprised that social media, the news and YouTube are not actually vital for your day-to-day life, and they're still there if you don't check them for a couple of days. If you want to see more videos of me experimenting with different ways of living your life that hopefully will make you a happier person, then make sure to subscribe down below. And I will see you in the next video.